Alright, so here's the worksheet we've been working on. We're going to do this factoring quadratics with guess and check method. And I just want to run through a few of these, or as many as we can, and just to show you like the technique behind this, alright? Alright, so number one, I think we did this already, so let's go through this 2 and 1. So I'm looking at the factors of 2, which are 2 and 1. I'm writing them down. I'm looking at the factors of 2 again, which are, again, 2 and 1. And I know this is going to factor into something that has two different signs. One's a plus sign and one's a minus sign because that last sign is negative, right? So if the last sign is negative, my signs inside my quantities will be different. My first prime factor here is 2, so there has to be a 2x and a 1x here. That's not going to change. What's going to change is where I put the 2 and 1 here, because the only factors of 2 are 2 and 1. Am I going to put them in the front, back, and what kind of signs I'm going to use? All right, so I see that 2 times 2 is 4, and that's already close to giving me 3, or negative 3. So if I make that negative, I'll get negative 4. And if I do 2 times positive 1, I'll get positive 1. So 2 times 2 is negative 4. 1 times 1 is positive 1. And negative 4 and positive 1 will give me a negative 3. Check. All right, I'm going to keep going down the list and see what we got. 3m. And so I got factors of 3 and 1. Again, my only two factors are 3 and 1. So this is going to break up into 3m and m. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. 9 and 1. So 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. 9 and 1 can give me a negative 8. So I want this to be negative 3 to get negative 9. And I'm going to make this a positive 1 to get positive 1, and negative 9 and positive 1 will give me a negative 8. And again, I know my signs are going to be different here because my c term is negative. All right, 16r squared and minus 8, so 4 and 4, 1 and 1, and this is going to break up into 4r and 4r, and this is going to give me negative 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, 4 times negative 1 again is going to be negative 4, and these signs have to be the same because of that plus sign. So 4 minus 1, 4 minus 1. So these were numbers that we did in the examples on one of the videos, but here's a bunch of numbers that we haven't done yet, okay? So there's going to be a lot of guess and check for me as well too here. So to open up two sets of parentheses here, factors of 6 and factors of 6. Okay, so 3 and 2, and this can be again 1 and 6, 3 and 2, whatever it is. So I'm just going to start with 3 and 2, and I see 3 times 3 is 9, right? 3 times 3 is 9, and 2 times 2 is 4. Well, I like those numbers because 9 and 4 give me 5. But as long as I'm subtracting, and I am subtracting because this last sign is negative, so one of these signs has to be positive. So I've got 3x and 2x. 3 times positive 3 is positive 9. So, just joking. So if I put a positive 3 here, I'll get a positive 9. And now I need a negative 4. And if I put a minus sign here, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And so 3x minus 2 times 2x plus 3. And that will give me my 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. Right? I'm going to keep going. So 3 and 1. Factors of negative 8 here, don't know, but I know this is going to be 3x and 1x, that for sure. And let's play with some factors of 8. I guess I'll play it with 4 and 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2. 12 and 2 does not give me 2, so that's not going to work for me. But what if I did, what if I went across here? What if I did 3 times 2 is 6, and 1 times 4 is 4. 6 and 4, if I subtract them, I get 2. Cool. So I need this to be a positive 2, because 3 times positive 2 will give me a positive 6, and this one's going to be a negative 4, because 1 times negative 4, so positive 6 and negative 4, and that will work for me. All right, next one, 18 x squared and a 5 here. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Let me just get all this and move this over a little bit. Give myself a little room there, okay? And then let's see, so we got, so 18x squared. All right, I'm gonna go with 9 and 2. I could go 3 and 6, 9 and 2, 1 and 8, whatever. Let's see how this happens. 9 and 2, because first thing comes off the top of my head. 9, 5 is nice because it's only 1, 2 factors. So 9 times 5 is 45. So 9 times 5 is 45. 2 times 1 is 2. 45 and 2 do not give me 27. Okay, so 9 times 1 is 9. 9 and 10. And I'm subtracting them. That also does not give me 27. So 9 and 2 are not what I want here. How about 6 and 3? 6 times 5 is 30. Cool. 3 times 1 is 3. 30 and 3. Yeah, that works. So I'm going to do 6x and 3x. I want 6 times 5. I want this to be negative 30. So I'm going to do negative 5 there, right? Because 6 times 5. And if that's going to be negative, then this one has to be positive. So positive 1. All right. I know my last term is negative, the c term is negative, so I have to have opposite signs. Once I establish one of the signs, then I know automatically what the other sign is going to be. All right, number 7. All right, beautiful. So this is 2 and 1, 3 and 1. There's no other choices here. All right, be careful with this one. So this is plus sign, so my signs are going to be, so the c term is positive. So I'm going to have 2 plus signs or 2 minus signs here. All right, most likely going to be plus signs because my middle term is positive. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 and 1 is, add them, I guess, 7. So that doesn't work. Careful there. So 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. And 2 and 3 is 5. So that's good. So 2a and a. 2 multiplies with a positive 1. And the 1 multiplies with a positive 3. All right, number 8, 18, and 9 again, and 5 again, so similar to number 6. All right, so again, let's play with this one. All right, and again, a negative 5, but this time a positive 9 in here. So if we did, I'm going to start with 9 and 2 again. I think 9 and 2 had, I don't think 9 and 2 helps. So 9 times 5 is 45, 2 is 1, 45, and that's not going to give me that. If I go back to my, I'm sorry, so I could also try the other way. So 2 times 5 is 10, 10, 9 times 1 is 9, 10 and 9 does not give me a positive 9, so let's get rid of this. All right, again, just doing a little mental math here, just trying to figure out. So 6 times 5 is 30, that's too big. So 6 times 1 is 6, 3 times 5 is 15, so 6 times 1 is 6, 15. If I subtract these two numbers, I will get 9, right? So that works. So again, so 6x and 3x is the winner here for the first two. And I need 6 to multiply with 1. And I need 3 to multiply with 5. But I want the 15 to be positive. So the 6 and then the 1 to be, and I need this to be negative. So this has to be positive. This one has to be negative. So 6 times negative 1 and 3 times positive 5. All right. And continuing right along. So here's number 9. Here we have a negative. All right, so we haven't done anything with negatives yet. Okay, we need to get 21. We need to get 19 here. So you could do negative 2 and 2. Right? Negative 2 and positive 2. Right, factors of negative 4 and 21. I'm thinking 7 and 3. Give me 21. I could do negative 2 times 7. That gives me negative 14. 2 times 3 gives me 6. That doesn't work. If I add those two, that's not going to give me my negative 21. What else? Any other factors of 21? You can do 21 and 1. That might work. How about if I do negative 4 and 1 with the same 7 and 3? Negative 4 times 3. That's going to be, let's see, positive 3 is positive 12. So negative 4 times, just joking, negative 3. So negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. 1 times 7, positive 7 is 7. And a positive 12 and a positive 7 is a positive 19. Awesome. So I got negative 4, C, and C. Negative 4 needs to multiply with negative 3, so here's my negative 3. That's giving me my positive 12, and then my c needs to multiply with positive 7. And there's my answer. Number 10. 8x, this is the one we did in the video. 8, 4, and 24. Again, I would rewrite this with factoring out the 4 first, and that leaves you with 2x squared minus x minus 6. Okay, when I divide everything out by 4, and then factor this one. All right, so 2 and 1, 3 and 2 could potentially work, and let's see what happens here. So don't forget the 4 in the front, right? So we factor out the 4, so the 4 stays. 2 times 2 is 4, so I got 2x and x. If I multiply by this one, I get a positive 4, and so if this is positive, this will give me positive 4, and this will give me a negative 3. I don't want a positive 4 and negative 3. I want a negative 4 and a positive 3 to get a negative 1. So 2x, put the negative 2 in there because that will give me my, so I need 2 times negative 2. So 2 times negative 2, 1 times positive 3, and you are all done. All right, 28, 60, and 25. Not so nice on this one. There's nothing that factors out between 28, 60, and 25. All right, so let's tackle it. 7 times 4 is 28. 5 times 5 is obviously 25, and hope for the best here. 7 times 5 is, we got 7 times 5, and we got 35. 4 times 5, and we got 20. That's not going to help me. So let's see what else we got. So I could leave 5 and 5. I could leave 25 and 1. Let's see what happens after that. 2 times 14. 14 times 5 is 70. And 2 times 5 is 10. And one of them is going to be positive, one of them is going to be negative based on the fact that this last sign is negative. So I need this one to be positive. So we got 14p and 2p. 14 times positive 5 is positive 70. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And positive 70 and negative 10 is positive 60. Cool. 48, 22, and 15. Again, nothing so nice here. Common, you could factor a 3 here, but not a 3 here. So let's go with it. Let's see what we got. Factors of 48. 6 times 8 is 48. 15. We do 5 and 3. Cool. 6 times 5 is 30. 8 times 3 is 24. That's 30 and 24 is not going to give me 22 there. Let's see if we did. I'm going to actually bring those numbers back. I did 6 times 5 is 30. 8 times 4 is 32. Right, going this way. And now, let me just try this way. 8 times 5 is 40, and 6 times 3 is 18. And so, be careful there, right? So I used the 68 and the 5 and 3, but I didn't use both. I went 6 times 5 and 8 times 3, but I could also do 6 times 3 and 8 times 5. So don't miss that one. That's a very common mistake there. And a positive 40 and a negative 18 will give me a 22 here. So there's actually my answer right there, right? So 6x and 8x. 6 needs to multiply with 3 and make this negative, right? So get a negative 18, and this one has to be positive. And again, I knew they were going to be opposite signs because that sign is negative. All right, and a couple more examples. So we're about 15 minutes in. I'll just do one more. 3, 6, and 24. Factor out the 3, and you're left with y squared minus 2y minus 8. Right, that's going to make life a little easier here. And now, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to do this is y and this is y. This is going to be 4 and this is going to be 2. It's going to be negative and it's going to be positive. because the factors of -8, they give you -2 or -4 and +2 with the 3 in the front, right? So this is with a leading coefficient of 1 now after I factor out the 3. Here, 4, 26, and 48. All right, you can't factor out 4 from all of them, but you can factor out the 2, and that does, that's definitely going to make a difference. So 2x squared plus 13x minus 24, and that's going to make life a little easier there. So let's see what happens here. So we got 2 and 1, 24. If we do 6 and 4, that might work. This is negative, so we're going to have opposite sides. So 2 times 6 is 12. 1 times, so again, I'm looking at 2 times 6 here is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. 12 and 4 is not going to help me there. Let me do it the other way. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 6 is 6. 8 and 6 is not going to help me. How about 3 and 8? 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 2 is, and 1 times 8 is 8. That's not going to help me. 2 times 8 is, how about that one? 2 times 8 is 16. 1 times 3 is 3. I want this to be positive. I want this to be negative. So here we are. So we got 2x and x, right? Using the first 2, I want the 2 to multiply with the 8 and make that a positive 8. And I want the 1 to multiply with the 3, make that negative 3. Don't forget the 2 that you factor out in the front. And voila. All right, so we got through about 14 problems in 16 minutes. Again, this is the guess and check method. You can be just as fast. Just going to take a little practice. All right, and again, if you like the AC method, go with the AC method. After doing a numerous amount of these, you will get that fast. And do your best and go from there. All right, talk to you soon.